The little car is known as a mobile, the chase car that comes in very high speeds, taking that turn onto the runway very rapidly as we come in to do our landings. They're sort of our eyes and ears on the outside of the jet. When you're in this suit and you have the helmet on, your peripheral vision's sort of occluded. You get little temporal distortions. It can be a little bit weird. So the mobile driver, while he's driving onto the runway, getting right behind you, assists you in reassuring you by telling you your altitude above the runway. It's also a qualified pilot in that car, so they're going to kind of know what actions you should be taking if something looks out of place, and they can help guide you back to landing the jet safely.
The purpose of the chase car is for the catching or the return of the aircraft, and we use it primarily to drive up and basically join in formation with the aircraft and help them count down the altitude so they can safely land. The pilot who's been up in the air for a significant amount of time is in a pretty bulky spacesuit, and it's difficult to see outside the small canopy. And so having the chase car driver there on the radio counting down the altitude allows them to get a better judgment of how far off the ground they are. The U-2 community uses a few different types of cars. Out here we have the Camaros, and we do have a Charger. But basically it's got to be a high-performance car that is able to come from a complete stop and meet the airspeed of the jet as it's flying down through.
6, 4, 3, 2, 1, back to 2, tails up 3, 2, 1, inches. Nice job, dude. Welcome back.
Well, the U-2's been around since 1955, and even as a prototype, there were vehicles chasing it either in the air or on the ground to help the pilot land safely. The safest way to land this jet is a nice two-point landing, and to do that, we need a pilot that's also qualified in landing the jet to drive quickly right behind it and give the pilot cues as far as how high his main landing gear is above the runway. I got to make sure the pilot has all the situational awareness he needs, so my primary concern is to make sure the pilot knows exactly how high his main landing gear is at that critical time where he's bringing the jet to a full stall. In the safest way possible, you need a car to follow and be in radio communication with the pilot.
4, 3, there's 2, tails level at 2, 1 inches. Nice job, welcome back.
Going 100 miles an hour behind the jet, big adrenaline rush, but you got to keep that under control so that you put safety of flight first. And I know that I'm helping the pilot safely land the jet so he doesn't get hurt or the jet doesn't break, and that's a big satisfaction as well. We have great maintainers, and anytime a U-2 is launched, there are hundreds of people. Maintainers, CSD, physiological support, contractors. There's a lot of people involved, while the pilot is the most visible. So anytime we can share the wealth with the guys that really help us out, that makes everybody's day better.
We just put a pin in the emergency start system. These guys are going to prep the location of the wheels with those housings that bolt on and help pull the wing down.
I like the fact that what I'm doing ultimately is helping the pilot land safely and protecting not only him or her, but also the asset on board the jet. It's a big balance of observing what the pilot is doing and providing real-time corrections so that he can land as well as he possibly can and as safe as he possibly can.